Hey, what's good, man? How are you? Yep. You safe? Oh, you know what? Bobby, we're gonna strike the audio. They Hey. What's up, Denise? What's up, James?
I don't argue with Sagittariuses. I just follow their
Hold up, man. She's getting the message out. Wait a minute. So, the current situation, give me a minute here and I'll fill everybody in. Sunday evening, I assume. TK, hey, Eric. What's the situation with TK? You want to go on camera or you want to talk right here?
I can talk right here. TK's in the field.
She's out.
She's home.
I know she got PR'd, so she went in front of a judge today. Eric tried to get in there. The sheriff wouldn't allow because the media could be in there with with her and the lawyer, but he wasn't able to get clearance from the sheriff to actually enter to cover the proceeding. But my understanding is that TK got PR'd, and so she's probably at the West Precinct with all the other protesters.
Yeah, she's not gonna every day. So with TK, the fact that she has showed up for the people, and when
Hey, Zach.
that she showed up for the people.
Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren. Hey, Zach. But that she shows up for the people. When the people showed up for her, the judges always ask, what is your community support like when it comes time to see if you get bail, if you get PR, what type of leash they want around you, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Hold on. Nikki.
Yeah. So with the people showing up and yelling outside, and Kashama Sawant coming in saying, hey, we're vouching for her. Her mom showed up. Her sister showed up.
So the council member showed up to her arraignment.
A council member showed up to her arraignment and spoke on her behalf because of what she's been doing. Her life changed. There was a point where we talked about the PACE program.
What's up, Dylan?
The PACE program where TK was a part of, coming out of prison, that was to reform people. She's a perfect candidate, a poster child for that. She went through, and they PR'd her.
No, PR means personal recognizance, which means that she wasn't required to put up a cash bond. Basically, on her personal promise that she would appear for her court date, a judge, granted her, they bonded her out without any money, but because they said that, that, and the actual charge too. So it goes with what the charge is, and then it goes to like, man, are you a flight risk? The community, it's a few different things. Judges have some leeway. So with that, they let her out on a personal recognizance. So now, you might hear us throughout the night say PR again. So that's a personal recognizance. And so as opposed to a bond or a cash bond or anything like that, that's what they let her out on. What's up, man?
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on things?
As usual. All right, so here's the thing. Is right here. I'm gonna start right here. What's up, man? How you doing? Well, nobody's in jail anymore. TK was in jail, but TK is no longer in jail. All right, so we want to start right here on the art. because this has been a big issue. You know what I'm saying? An issue of contention and some other things is the art right here. Hey, what's up, Michael? All right, so what this is right here is this is the art boxes being they're uninstalled. So what they've got here, and we got to the bottom of it, and you know, I mean, we asked a lot of questions, just because that's what we do. And so, you know, I got back out here. It's been 2-3 different groups today that have been removing art and everything else. And so we're trying to get to the bottom of it. And all right. Thank you. So what's happened is there's a group here, some artists from Capitol Hill, and they have their lock. The city supplied a container, and apparently they're using their lock. These aren't protesters. These are some people that work with the arts community here, and they have removed the art, and they're going to go and store the art. And I mean, this art thing was a big issue today, all throughout the day. Well, I mean, like I said, it's the thing is, it's crazy because it's news, but it's not news. 4 days ago, what we said. Okay, cool. Okay, so cool. So this, yeah. So the thing is, thank you, Bobby, is that the footprint, if you guys remember 4 days ago, the footprint, and that was the day that one group wanted to take people to the Seattle Center, and the other group said that they wanted to take people to the East Precinct, and they said that night that they were giving up everything but the East Precinct. They said that 4 days ago, you know what I'm saying? And so what's going to happen, my understanding is that today is art removal off of these boxes, not the boxes that are in front of the precinct, but it's art removal off of these boxes. Tomorrow, they're going to continue with human services and some other things as well. But yeah, it was, man, the art was like, it was crazy today, man, because a few different groups was trying to take the art, like all for the best reasons, I suppose, because there's just been rampant theft, which is like odd, even in saying that in itself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Take that however you want. I know some people would be like, well, theft? What do you mean? It's this and that. And other people are going to be like, oh my God, they shouldn't steal the art. But, you know, I mean, that's the best term that I could use right now. So whatever side you guys are on the issue, you know what I'm saying? Don't hang it over my head. But they're coming to remove everything and catalog it and everything else. Okay, so Bobby's telling me to follow him. I'm following you. Where we going?
I would just point it down for now. So like point it down to the ground.
Oh, just point it somewhere else.
Yeah. That's just me.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, so and Bobby Steels was out here earlier. There was another group as far as the whatchamacallit. So like what's happening is, so people are coming and they're removing stuff or whatever, and then you find it like online, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you know, here's a piece of whatever from you know, from the chop, and people are already selling stuff online, People come in the middle of the night, they remove stuff and everything else. So what they're wanting to do is before the city comes in, and the city might indiscriminately remove pieces, some of the art volunteers have actually moved up over here to our community volunteers, not protesters, but people who are in the art community that come over here to actually remove the stuff. Okay, I'm following you. All right. It's Cal Anderson Park where we're heading to right now. In Cal Anderson, to be honest with you, is there's a few tents left. There's not a lot. And the thing is like I said, it was almost maybe 4 days ago. All these days kind of blended in together. But at that point, 4 days ago, they gave up the park. I mean, we hear it on tape. And to be honest with you, the people who are up there at the East Precinct haven't been down here in the park. You know what I'm saying? Find all kinds of people down here. Eric Calligraphy takes all kinds, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So one thing that we did see today is, yeah. Okay. Sometimes I swear I get pulled in like 10 different directions out here. We're gonna see what Bobby's talking about. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get a shot of something here.
Can we get a shot of the inside of the truck without your guys' faces? We'll just hold it down so we don't show your faces. Just don't get their faces.
Tell them to step back.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's right there. If they don't want me to get their face, they're standing right there.
They're in the...
Well, Rick ain't got no problem being on camera.
Brian, I got some more volunteers for you.
Okay. So I'll let you guys stay right there for a second. So basically what's happening is, I'll let you stay right there. So what's happening is the art is being loaded in over here. And my understanding is when they uninstalled it, they cataloged it, they photographed it, they did all the, whatever goes into art deinstallation and preservation, I suppose. So that was the thing there. So,
sorry.
anyways, so want to show people that. I guess that was an area where the city and the CHOP cooperated today. But I mean, there's already, like I've been telling you, there's already been ongoing communication between the CHOP and some of the city offices, SDOT, public utilities, fire department, and so there's another piece right there as to where the city, I believe that might be SDOT's material or SDOT's container, but they brought a container here, they're putting the art there, and then the community people actually have the key. The community people actually have the key to the container. So a lot of people had questions about the art. So that's where we started at. So out here at Cal Anderson Park. So what's going to happen, in my opinion, it's the same thing that I told you guys yesterday. And I'm sticking to it, is what I think is going to happen, is exactly what's been discussed. I mean, the mayor said it yesterday, but the people at CHOP said it 4 days ago. They're like, man, they're reducing everything into the footprint of the East Precinct. And, you know, I mean, we that night, we set it on, we asked people 4 or 5 times, what exactly are you doing? They're like, man, we're reducing our footprint. And so as far as the people who are up there at the East Precinct are concerned, they haven't been in the park for days. And, I mean, for the most part, we haven't seen them down here. And the people we just talked to Rick, we talked to a few other people, they're like, man, the park and a few other places over here, it's not an issue for them. Now, behind over there, we won't go too close. Behind that fence where the cars are, that's where the unhoused population is, homeless population. And we see the tents there are decreasing as well. It's kind of like, they didn't totally segregate it, but it's kind of like 2 segregated societies here, because the homeless, they got their own thing behind the fence there. And a lot of the stuff that goes on the rest of the area, they don't necessarily participate in or come out to, or things like that. So this is this fist, the fist that's there at home plate. Have you heard any discussion about that, Nikki?
No, I don't know what's happening to the fist.
I heard somebody talk about earlier that there's a few organizations that are saying that they want this fist. So, I mean, here's what's happening in a broader sense. So everybody's like, okay, what's going on with the CHOP? What's going on with the CHOP? Again, it's new news, but it's old news, because days ago, what we reported to you guys was that, a lot of the hardline people who are out here, they gave this up days ago. They told people to dismantle their tents and leave. And, one group told people to go to the Seattle Center. Another group told people to go to the East Precinct. So, the fact that the park is now cleared out, I mean, it's new, but it's not new. Because this is the instruction that, two different camps, I guess you would say, that's the instruction that they gave. They told people to clear out, and they said that they were no longer going to provide services over here in Cal Anderson Park. They said they were going to no longer provide services at Cal Anderson Park or anywhere else over here. So, that's what we see. So what I think is going to happen is that over the next few days, the barricades that are here, except for the barricades that are in front of the East Precinct, are going to get removed. The crazy thing about that, though, is it's like, that's what the protesters were saying anyway, days ago, live. They were like, man, they're not worried about, they're not speaking for everybody, of course, there's lots of people out here, but speaking to people in leadership positions out here that are on the ground, they said they're not really worried about a lot of different stuff. They just want to be able to stay in that area. Firework?
Yeah, something went off every night. All over the city, actually.
All right, hold on. It's crazy because what I'm doing right now is I'm just tweeting firework, because the people who actually live in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, like, aren't protesters, aren't anything, they're just residents. They look at my Twitter, and they're like, what just happened?
Sorry, can't have nice things. It's Bobby.
It's Bobby. So let me tweet that out, let people know it's a firework. Yeah, so the lights just came on over here at Cal Anderson. And, for now, of course, existing barriers are here. But, one thing that we did see today, I call it like I see it, is that you really saw people from downtown I say downtown, a lot of city people have been out here from different agencies and services, but you saw people today who were down here from high-level offices. You saw a lot of people from the mayor's office. They've been down here all day trying to have one-on-one conversations with people and things like that. You know, I mean, which is good to see. In a sense that, like, so we've been saying, it's like, man, guys just need to come down here and talk to people. So, what I think is going to occur, people always want to know what I think. Somebody said that dude was hot. So I need to put the camera on myself or put it back on you or what?
Maybe they meant like you sweating.
Oh, okay, you sweating, you're hot, huh? So, oh wow, this is something we haven't seen in a minute. People sitting down and eating inside of Rancho Bravo. Someone said another stream, the police activity on 12th and one of the intersections. I don't know. What do you mean, Chris? Someone said on another stream there's police activity. Well, that's 12th right there, at least as far as the chop goes. Not that light, but after light where the white tents are at. That's, I mean, 12th's a long street though, so I mean, I'm sure there could be police activity on 12th, but we're looking up at 12th right now. So, what I think is going to occur here is that, this camera's crazy. These barriers that are here on, I guess 10th, the other set of barriers that are up here, let's walk east. Now walking east on Pine Street. Another set of barriers. Have you seen what Summit property at? Have you seen what Summit property is about CHOP? Oh, they said sweating. They said to tell Jenny. So who said to tell Jenny they're not giving up any barricades? Now they saying you're sweating and you got the Rona. Damn, man. Internet got no chill, dog. It's like the comment section. Comment section got no chill. So I mean, in talking, I'll be honest with you, in talking to quite a few of the protesters that are on the ground, and you know, there's quite a few that are like, man, we don't care what barricades they take if they're not, as long as they're not taking the East Precinct, right? And then of course you got some that are like, they're not giving up any barricades. So it's another set of barricades right here. This is 11th Avenue, 11th and Pine. And then, of course, we have barricades all the way across Pine Street that go down there.
Street lights came on.
Yeah, lights are on. And they're uninstalling. Hey, what's up? Wow. We ain't see you in a few days.
I know.
He's a journalist from Atlanta.
Oh, you just got back?
Yeah, I came back on Friday.
Good to see you, man. I was worried about you.
No, yeah, man. I was like, I texted
You ain't calling me.
The OVT network in Atlanta.
I see how it is. You hang out.
You know, Bobby Steele's is like that. He be wanting to make sure you got home
100%,
safe.
dog. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
look,
Your
you want to
hat's
stun
fucked
on
up
us.
too, dog.
You want? No, he's just messing with you.
Nah, your threads are fucked up, dog.
You know, this one, you know, you made it big time when you got the stitched in hats. You
got
know
the
what I'm
matching
saying?
shirt though?
Look at him.
Actually, my shirt is, of course.
Right, defund.
But
And he from
look at him.
Atlanta.
You're out here, huh?
You know,
You still covering this story, huh? Okay.
Welcome back, man. Thanks
Well,
for
yeah.
thanks for
You done went to
letting me
Atlanta
back.
twice. I mean, this must be an intriguing story down there in Atlanta. Because he's from Atlanta. He's been out here twice. This is one, two. This is his third time out here.
Show us strong at from 12 p.m. so we can make the disruption that we need to make during the day. Period. We're out here trying to make change, and I'm just getting tired of all the division. We need to come together. People are forgetting that this is a people's movement, so we must stick together and continue to move as one. Period. That's all.
All right. Got an ovation going over here. All right, Malcolm. Let's see what happens. So, let me show you guys. I think it better explain it from the east precinct. So basically, so there's the East Precinct right here. So days ago, these guys said that this was the only space that they were defending was the East Precinct. This was like 4 days ago. And you know, so all of these barricades right here and the barricades that we were just at down on 10th right there, a good number of people who are actually camping at the East Precinct, that's what they said. They were like, man, we don't, not that they don't care, but like they're basically, man, we don't care about Cal Anderson, about the North Park, about anything. They were like, man, this is the space they're defending. Of course, this is the space the city wants back the most, is the East Precinct. But that's what the city wants. A lot of people in the neighborhood, what they want is they want access through the streets, and they want to be able to move through Cal Anderson Park. Are you socially distanced, bro?
That's what I'm saying, man. On top of all that, COVID.
Yeah. COVID is rampant. We masked in.
Texas shut down.
You need your...
Florida shut down. Arizona shut down.
Yeah. Looks like... Oh. So it's talking about tuck and chop worldwide. Chop in New Zealand. Damn.
Shout out to All Blacks.
That's the rugby team if people don't know. That Bobby Stills talking about if you don't know.
BLM.
So
joking.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I don't know. He's that Malcolm's down there rallying support for whatever they're talking about. I mean, what they're saying, though, what he's saying is true. You've seen people back when it was an autonomous zone. People were like, you know what I'm saying? But you saw Portland, though, man.
I like the autonomous zone, dog.
Their whatchamacallit in Portland their autonomous zone lasted in Portland for like a night. They built an autonomous zone outside of the mayor's house in Portland. And like the next morning, it was over with. So, this is the space here. Seattle People Department. And so these barricades right here, there's quite a few protesters who are like, man, this is the area that they're worried about. This is what I was saying the other day when SDOT came in at 5:30 in the morning. It's a lot of people who was already in a place to even negotiate with the city. And so, you know, if I think these barricades right here as well. But I think that if the city if the city, like they did today, the city today, and of course yesterday, after SDOT was pushed out, they came in and actually, they talked to the people, like which barricades matter to you, which barricades don't matter to you, or whatever. And, and that's an ongoing discussion here of all of that. Because, like I said yesterday morning, if the city was going to come in and get pushed back anyway, then they might as well just try to come in and talk first. And it was crazy because, like, what I witnessed earlier was, it was a real cordial conversation, I guess I could put it like that, between a lot of the protesters that are camped here and representatives from the city. So, but now the protesters are clear. I'm not talking for everybody or whatever. They're like, yo, this area right here outside of the East Precinct, they're not trying to give up anything. And actually the mayor said that she wasn't trying to take anything from the East Precinct. The mayor said that her and Chief Best would deal with the East Precinct later, was my understanding. Well, not even my understanding, that's exactly what they said. And so I guess what I'm trying to say and be able to continue to reiterate here is that days ago, the protesters said this is the only area that they care about, was the area here outside of the East Precinct. And the crazy thing is that everything that, people went through yesterday on the push out is that at the end of the day yesterday, at least for a good portion of the protesters, they was already talking the same language as the city, but the protesters in the city weren't talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy. Like, you guys heard them live here on the stream saying that they can't defend the space. They can't defend the chop. You see what I'm saying? As it once was. The numbers are down and everything else. And so they were like, man, the only space that they have the numbers to defend is the East Precinct. And so that's why they reduced the number of people. I mean, they reduced their footprint to just the East Precinct. Mayor Durkin said that she wants to remove all barricades except the East Precinct. And so why they didn't talk to each other is best known to them beforehand. I mean, you never know. We might be in a different situation today. We might not, because a good majority of the protesters and the city were saying the exact same thing. Now, we did our part. We streamed it live exactly when they were saying it. They're like, yeah, man, we don't care about dudes on camera. We don't care about anything else here. You know what I'm saying? We can't provide services anywhere else. The only thing that we could do is defend this space. And again, like I said, the mayor said that she wants to remove everything but this space. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, communication is everything, But, keeping it forward looking, this is how it happens. If it happens all in one rush, if it happens bit by bit or something like that, I think that a lot of the protesters here are prepared, not speaking for everybody, you know what I'm saying, it's not a consensus, but a lot of protesters here are prepared to give up some of these other cement barricaded spaces. What they're not prepared to give up is the East Precinct. It's their bargaining chip, that's where they're at, that's where they're entrenched, that's where they're camped at, everything right here in the East Precinct.
I didn't realize I was like,
oh, you okay? You all good? Fantastic. Be safe. God bless. We see that, like, the people some more of these cement barricades. Some of the barricades that are here in the street. So also what happened as well is any remaining art that's up here on these boxes, and they've worked out some kind of agreement where this art is actually going to stay. And to be honest with you, the protesters also use the art here, as built, as put onto the barricades as a defense or part of their defense. So what's up, bro? So what's happening here? Like I said, I think over the next few days, you're going to see a lot of Capitol Hill open up. You're going to see a lot of, Carol Anderson's already open every night. At least the last few nights, there's been people playing softball, doing stuff like that over there. So a lot of Carol Anderson. But as far as the surface streets very well might open up here soon. And we'll see what happens. And again, it's not a consensus, at least amongst the protesters, but the majority of the protesters that we spoke with are like, man, you know what? Do whatever you want to do. Don't touch the barricades in front of the East Precinct. Clearly the mayor said that she looks at this as a two-phased approach. The first phase being opening the rest of the streets. The second phase, which she didn't put a timeline on, and Chief Best hasn't put a timeline either, is moving back into the East Precinct. I finally got a chance today. I had some time to look at the national news and everything else, and how the story is playing out here in the national news, and it's a spotlight on the city for sure. So. But this area, so when people are like, this is why I wanted to come up here and show this, because the people are like, well, man, what's up? Is the chop this, the chop that, or whatever, man. What I can say is this, is one, the chop the other day reduced their footprint for the most part, and there's still another area that has the unhoused and the homeless, but the chop reduced their footprint like 4 days ago, and they said that the only space that they wanted here was the East Precinct, and that was some days ago is when they did that. So that's one, that the CHOP on their own reduced their footprint. Two, what I can say is that according to the city, the mayor, everything else, that their plan to start moving the rest of everything else but the East Precinct here is going to start tomorrow. Now, that might not necessarily be, bulldozers and things like that. I think that plan might start with human services, but you never know. But I'm pretty certain that tomorrow is going to be like more human services. Human services are like social workers. It's also people who are down there cleaning up, the park, things like that. Yeah. Yeah, no, we've been all over. So that's tomorrow, human services, and they might try to do some barricade removal tomorrow, but I doubt it. And also, with it being a Sunday, I doubt that they're going to try to do barricade removal tomorrow. And again, this is all part of the East Precinct barricade. And so for right now, this is like, it's CHOP. This really is, I guess the best way to explain it is that CHOP in a geographic sense, even though the barricades, extend throughout here, this is like the CHOP is really just, it's the East Precinct at this point, people are all over, but the park is open, it's a lot of other stuff, but streets are still barricaded. So I guess until the barricade is lifted, if it does get lifted, but the mayor said they're trying to lift them, but basically the people who are protesting, the people who, been camped out here, people, like I said in the thing, man, who've been using the honey bucket and the hand washing station for 3 weeks, all those people up there. And those are like the, super committed for whatever reason. And believe me, the people who are tinted up here, they got a lot of different reasons for being here, and you know what I'm saying, but they're all here.
One thing I wanted to add to Omari's commentary is that I believe last week they did say they were going to pull those utility services out.
They did, but then something happened. I think that it was the press conference or something, and that's when the mayor, because we had very good information that utilities were getting pulled, and we were actually kind of waiting there to see what happened. And then I think what it was is that the mayor decided to address the city, and then in her address she said that pulling utilities was going to be on that timeline. And so they didn't pull utilities at that time, even though it was planned to be pulled at like 6 a.m. sometime last week, something like that, or earlier this week, whatever it was. Man, these days are blending together. So we moved back down the hill. So all of these barricades right here, these are the barricades that Mayor Durkin is talking about as far as the removal. All of these barricades up to the East Precinct, which is right there. The city wants to come in and remove these. They want to remove those. They want to remove these. They want to remove those down there. Is what the city is saying that they want to achieve in phase one. They also want to come through and clean up the park. Clean up the play field is probably too much of a stretch, but the park, you know what I'm saying, they want to clean that. They want to remove things like this. This used to be the Conversation Cafe that was once here. This was here at that time. No longer here. What the city is talking about is putting some kind of permanent structures in there as well. The mayor has discussed that now on a few different occasions. You know, some of the things that might be meaningful to people who are here protesting. They talked about putting some kind of permanent structure here, maybe building some kind of place for conversation in the park. I don't know this. The mayor in her office, and I'm assuming, working with other people or whatever, would come up with exactly what that plan would look like.
SDOT has their own plan. Sam Zimbabwe came through. He wants his idea, and this is just SDOT's opinion to the mayor, is to keep this as a walkway, a city pathway with no traffic here.
Oh wow, close 11th and 10th and 11th.
That's right. I mean that's SDOT's suggestion to the mayor's office.
That's a bold step
but it
for
has
Zimbabwe.
it has to be approved.
Yeah.
They want to cut out the sidewalks,
and
they want to reduce the footprint of traffic here. Yeah. That is their suggestion.
All right. We'll see what happens there. But it's a quiet night here in the chop, man. And, some people might call it the quiet before the storm. See what happens. But, one thing for sure, we saw this yesterday morning that, the people who are here, they're definitely reduced in numbers. But, and we talked about this the other day, they're small in numbers, but it was the distillation process.
Distillation?
Yeah.
Use some whiskey?
No. Or the filtering or the sieving process that filters people out. You know what I'm saying? And everything else. So the people that are left, they've been filtered out. And these are the people who are left here. And these people, for reasons, but like I said, everybody who's tinted, they can't tell you that they're necessarily with this group or this leader or whatever. For a lot of people, for their own reasons, they're like, man, this is why I'm here. Diaz live stream from earlier today said gonna fight barricades. Yeah, but so it's what barricades though? I can guarantee you 100% if it's the East Precinct barricades, then people said they ready to fight, lock arms, lay down in front of bulldozers and everything. So even when people are like, yeah, they're gonna fight the barricade removal, Or are they saying I'm responding to a comment, by the way, by Bobby, who's on here, not Bobby Stills, but Bobby Badonsky. So that's the thing. I mean, when we talked to people up there earlier, they're like, yeah, it's going to go down, at the East Precinct. But then the same people was like, man, they're not tripping over those barricades. Now, there are some people that are, for sure. And like I said, my comments don't represent a consensus at all. But, there are people who are like East Precinct because that's the area that they can defend. We got a lot of comments. Hopefully these comments aren't people talking crazy to each other. All the barricades. They're not allowing any barricades to be removed. Well, Seattle wants name. Who gets receipts? City might take responsibility. Yeah. Big lesson to CHOP is that we need more and more effective drug rehab programs. Facebook page called Autonomous Zones for Conservatives. This is dope. The adults of the city. Yo, man,
we appreciate all your comments.
Our comments are lit. That's all I can say. I haven't seen a lot of lives because I'm always, busy. I see a lot of lives where the comments are like not moving, man. The comments on here, they stay lit. So the other night when we came out here, I didn't have my phone with me, so everything over here, at least a lot of stuff is considered like, memorabilia. Somebody was trying to take down the sign, the George Floyd side there. Yeah, and so you got a lot of stuff on this pole. You got a lot of stuff just on this one pole right here. There's a fist, a sign that says Black Lives Matter Way. You know what I'm saying? There's street signs or whatever. It's a lot. So, like I said, for today, it's very quiet here in the CHOP. I'm not expecting another 5:30 a.m. wake up call over here, trying to figure out what's going on. With barricades being removed, I think that what the city is most likely trying to do now at this point is work with protesters for removal of barricades, and even what we see here in our comments. Hey, what's up? Good evening. How are you? Be safe. God bless. What we're seeing is that there's a group of protesters. There's a group. No, are the police back? No, the police aren't back. Well, this is good. They shade off metal hoops on top of the barricades, so the city has a tougher time. It's barricades, metal loops. I haven't seen that, but let's just go find out. So, here's a metal loop. It looks like it's in place to me. Somebody just had a comment saying something about the metal loops being shaved off. It's good. We got good light. Well, that's even better light. So on that one, metal loop is still here. This is why we do the live stream, man. It's instant feedback. So a rebar is, and also it's not that easy to just cut through, because you got to imagine this has to be strong enough to be able to pick up this brick. It's not necessarily, I'm not saying it's not impossible, but they very well might have just if they shaved them, they might have shaved the ones around the East Precinct, and not like all of these over here. So that's another thing as well. So it's present. Excuse me. Loop is present. What's up, Dread? Loop is present. Hey, what's good? What are you out here doing?
No, I already told Jenny, you feel me? Don't negotiate with terrorists.
You don't negotiate with terrorists. So now this might be a different point of view. So let's hear this point of view. So Dread,
Put it in park.
you know what I'm saying?
We got Jenny talking about that. You were there, Omari. You heard what this woman said to us. We don't have another week of doing this. Am I right or wrong?
Well, what she said is the city's is coming to remove some stuff. She said everything but the East Barricade, but the East Precinct.
And the way how I see it, bro. We started out this whole war, bro, with $1. And just speaking, you know what I mean? We had $1. The dollar is the street that we had. And then we gave them 25 cents out of that dollar, meaning we let them come here and put these stupid ass barricades in here. You feel me? We're losing now. We feel me? We're losing. And then they're coming in here again to tell us that they want to move these barricades, bro. So they could control. They're basically trying to control everything we're doing here. That's the way how she's trying to say. She's trying to say Donald Trump is the one that want us to leave here, and that's the reason why we should be scared and get out of here. Listen, bro. Donald Trump can't move in on us without her consent. You feel me? Like, he can't. And it's election, so like if he does that shit, he's gonna fuck himself up. And like, Jenny's a fucking weirdo. That's why I walked out of the meeting yesterday after I said what I had to say, because that shit was illegal and I didn't want to be a part of it. You feel me? It was held in a church, and a place of non-profit should not mix up themselves with no politics. You feel me? And they fuck themselves up. So I don't want to be around it, and I like move myself away.
So
simple.
Well, let me ask you this: what's your position on? I think everybody, the city and the protesters are saying the same thing about the East Precinct barricades, like East Precinct. But what's your position on like these barricades here and the barricades on 10th?
So I'm doing the barricades right now. So I'm going to lock the street up right here. I'm locking this whole thing up. And
what's that mean? You're locking it up?
I'm going to move all of these fucking barricades that's down here with my truck. And
you got enough horses under the hood?
You sure?
They say you got enough horses under the hood?
Sure, I do.
Okay, these blocks is heavy, man.
Why the fuck they started cutting these things down here? But I'm gonna move these into the streets and onto the sidewalk so nothing could come through here. And whatever happens to this space happens to the space. We had fun with it, you know what I mean? But our fight is at precinct right there, and we're gonna be having.
So your fight's at the precinct. So how do you feel about those barricades that are all the way down there on 10th Avenue?
If they move them, they move them, bro. But we have occupied zone in this precinct, this movement.
And so your space is the East Precinct.
Yes, because we're trying to do one thing right now: keep this precinct from locking up people of color, black people, for doing nothing, bro. For just trying to get home and not having no money, so they hopped on the bus. You feel me? So somebody who's just like begging for change in the street, bro. You feel me, bro? Like somebody who's selling some weed, but it's illegal. What the fuck? Man's not killing nobody. Man's not committing no crime. But
weed's actually illegal in this state.
Huh?
I said
selling it on this? No.
Well, no, selling it
that's
is
why I said
illegal.
Selling it.
Right.
Smoking it in public is illegal here, bro. So that's what I'm trying to say. And that shit is not doing anything to nobody, bro. So why the fuck should people be getting locked up for that? This is what people are getting locked up for here, bro.
Let me ask you a more specific question then. So for you, then your barrier is here.
Yes.
On your barrier is here on 11th.
Yes.
And what you're saying is anything that's down there on 10th, any other stuff that's down there on Olive.
We're going to move that fist, and we're going to bring that fist up here into this zone.
You're moving the fist?
Yes, because...
You know they put it up with a crane.
And you know we're going to get a crane to move it back here.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
We're going to do this. The people are
I mean, I know protesters are into like elbow grease. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me... All right, let me dead the light.
Because I was trying to look at him, his face. I was looking at his face, and I couldn't see his face. But I'm running to the store, Mari. All
right.
I'll be back, boss man.
Okay. God bless. Be safe, man. All right. So we heard it there, but I mean, you know, he like a lot of stuff out here. It wasn't exact, but it was kind of fluid. But you heard what he said. You heard what he said is that, you know, for them the defense of the East Precinct is what's most important. Now we heard some protesters say that space right there, those barricades going from left to right across your screen, would be the border. What we heard Dred say though is that they want to be able to actually block all of Pine across in a north to south direction, basically following this sidewalk right here. You also heard him say that the barricades that are down there on 10th and the other barricades that are down there on Olive, and perhaps those barricades right there, those aren't, you know, you heard him say he's not worried about them. Somebody said these guys, their comments are lit. Someone said his check engine lights on. Man, I need, hold on. I'm sliding the comments off.
You didn't check the back. Double, triple check those facts. Was the check engine light on?
Man, I don't know, but I'm moving up the shop. I had to turn the comments off, but I mean they're not off. The comment, you guys are still commenting, but I had to move them from my view, man, because you guys in these comments, man, it's like it's a lot. So I mean I like talking to people, but some of them is like, what are these guys saying here?
Come see him, man. Your finger is so big.
Man, the phone is just small, man. What are you hating on me? So, like I said, for today, what happened here today in the chop? You know what I'm saying? What's up, bro?
Hey, man.
How you doing?
How's it going, Omari?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing all right.
That's what's up. Just out here streaming.
Can you give me a little bit of your insight of what's been going on?
Oh yeah, I was just getting ready to recap for everybody anyway. So what's going on today is that we saw a lot of people, more high-ranking people from downtown, from the mayor's office and other offices on the ground today, and actually talking to individual specific protesters about various different things, about the art, the removal of art and cataloging it and everything else, and also about the barricades. And where people negotiating about the barricades, which is interesting because, you know, that's what we were saying people should do anyways, negotiate first and do it one time. But
so I noticed like around like 6:30 or 7 this morning, things were SDOT was taking a bunch of this down.
I didn't see that.
They were taking a bunch of this stuff down.
Yesterday or today?
This morning.
Really?
They were taking down a bunch of the wood.
I was out here. I didn't see it. Well, all the wood was in place earlier. So what happened to all the pieces that you see that are out there right now? Volunteers removed all of this stuff earlier.
Are they putting it away to like put in a museum or what?
Man, I don't know about museum or thing like that, but I mean, the first thing was to be able to catalog the art. Take a picture of its position, catalog it, and then be able to store it safely.
I kind of noticed some people out with hacksaws earlier cutting the middle of.
So you saw people with the hacksaws earlier too. Okay, well let's.
I have video. Of it.
You got video everything.
Why you sent him on a mission, dude?
No, because somebody made a comment about the hacksaw, and we just showed people. No, I got a better one right here.
They cut it to make it harder for SDOT to be able to remove them.
Yeah, well, clearly, you know what I'm saying. I mean, but you know, if we're seeing this, I'm sure SDOT, the people from the mayor's office, all these people here. So this isn't like and then probably all the cops and everybody else who's out here. I mean, I'm showing it on camera. It's like it's not a secret.
He and I were out here earlier and watching it.
No,
There we go, right there.
Yeah, I mean that's
right there.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go, right there. You're watching him do it.
So these guys have a specific mission out here. Hey, but you know, this is what we said earlier. So somebody said in the comments, man, you know, people were filing away the rings, and I was like, well, they're not filing away those, but if they are, a lot of guys are saying those ones don't matter. But if they were, we said that it would be the ones around the East Precinct. And sure enough, here we are right here at the East Precinct. and these are the ones that are actually getting fired. Hey, what's up, Darnell? D-Hib in the building. D-Hib. Man, Darnell's the man. Darnell used to come down here when the tear gas was here. He'd be like, "Man, I just came to bring you some food."
And he came back.
I'm like Darnell, bro. It's all this. They put him out here. I'd be like, "But bro, man, it's the guy." He was like, "With my jerk shack, man. I got you some jerk chicken." I was like, "Man, don't you hear the flashbangs and the smoke?" He was like, "Oh man, I just gotta look out for you." So. D-Hib up in here, man. What's happening?
I ain't worried about none of this bullshit.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Should you not?
Exactly.
My time is my time.
So for people who were talking about the rings getting sawed off, that's what we're seeing.
By the way, thanks, Omari. I'll let you get back to your
Oh yeah,
feed.
nah.
Would you like
We gotta hook up.
Would you like to come upstairs in a little bit for?
Yeah, no, I'll go up to the roof. I got your number, so I'll call you when we get done with the stream.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you. Yeah. All right. So that's what we were talking about is that, yeah, I mean, when the comment was made, I hadn't personally seen them, but I was like, well, if they are sawed off, then it's not the ones down there, like the ones that we saw, that would be the ones that would be sawed. It would be the ones right here at the East Precinct. It hit Sam Zimbabwe. See how much these weigh. I mean, they're not light. So East Precinct right here. SPD, please. I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, that the big footprint of CHOP, the footprint that went 6 blocks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we literally have seen it shrink before our eyes, mostly due because of just, population. The population of the CHOP has been drastically reduced. We started to see that reduction occur after the tragic murder of Lorenzo Anderson, and that's when you really started to see the numbers of people out here start to decline. But we got 2 things. If someone was to ask me, right, is the CHOP? If someone was to ask me, is the CHOP still here? Yeah, I mean, actually, people call me all the time, and they're asking. I mean, and this is their footprint has been reduced, the numbers have been reduced, but they're literally barricaded outside of a police precinct. They're barricaded outside of the East Precinct, and they're tented over here, and they got supply lines, man. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, guys that are here, they don't have really a want for food or things like that. They have generators out here. They have, there's all kinds of support that they get, although you hear a lot about a lot of the neighbors who clearly want the, this to go away. There's a lot of people in the community who live here that every day bring all kinds of support over here. There's people that provide a laundry service for people over here. There's people, it's crazy. It's a lot of services that are actually being provided to people who are occupying this space by people who live in the neighborhood. There's restaurants that are around here that actually cook meals. They deliver boxed lunches to the protesters and everything. And these are restaurants that are in this neighborhood and restaurants that are downtown. You know what I'm saying? And other parts of the city, you'll find that some restaurants that might not even in the city of Seattle, they'll send down 50 box lunches and things like that. So there's a level, there's a level of support that this group right here is getting that's well beyond the means of themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, the mayor, she hasn't set a timeline here. It's probably prudent if she puts out a date. Then, you know what I'm saying, people are going to have an expectation of a date. But what she did say is that the removal of the barricades that are down there, when I say down there, I'm talking about 11th Avenue, 10th Avenue, Nagel, things like that. Those barricades are, the city wants to take them. A majority of protests, you heard Dredd, you heard Rick earlier. Those guys gave up those barricades a long time ago. And, you know, like I said, I mean, you can't go backwards in things, but I don't know why the city did just come out there. The city's talking to people now. If the city wanted to move all that stuff, nobody was really trying to stop them from moving that. They might have had an issue right here on 11th, but all these other barricades that are out here and the park, the Cal Anderson Playfield and Cal Anderson Park, these protesters who are entrenched over here at the East Precinct gave that up 4 days ago. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how the city approaches this, barricade removal 2.0, how they approach it. We'll see if it's, clearly they're not trying to sweep in here and everything else. The mayor's telegraphed their plan. They sent the people the other day at 5:30 in the morning. We'll see if when the city comes back in fully, whether that's going to be tomorrow or it's going to be Monday. I know for sure that some human services will be out here tomorrow, but whether they come with the barricade removal on Sunday or on Monday, whether it's the same kind of approach, or is it a one-by-one approach? Is it like trucks on all the streets like before and everything else? Only the city would know best as far as that goes. We'll hit one more spot here, and then we'll go down.
See the other one all the way up there? Oh, the one all the way up there? It was by a truck. They're all the way up there. And come look at these.
Hacksaw. Nice. That's effective, huh? On rebar?
I don't know if it's a good idea to do right now.
Yeah. Well. All I can say is that every action out here that anybody takes, whether it's you guys or the police or the city, people should think about it first. So that's the advice I'll leave you with. All right, be safe.
I go one step further. Any action anybody takes,
anywhere.
But here specifically,
you're right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'm not the one to give advice on anything, except try to do the right thing. That's the best advice I could give. I would say that today is Sunday, 9 p.m. Oh, is that what everybody's been talking about? Saturday and Sunday? I just get it. Thank you, Allison. I put the title up there wrong. Oh, all right. You guys were supposed to tell me. But then people were saying something, and then they was like, I didn't get it, man. It's a lot of long hours out here. So my bad. It's titled incorrectly. I don't know if I'm able to fix it from this side. Nikki, you were supposed to catch that. My bad. It's a space. It's a time machine over here in the chop, man. Amongst other things they have hidden underneath Cal Anderson Park. Maybe I'm just wishing it was Sunday already. But there we go. So we got to update it. I was trying to figure it out. I've been looking at the comments and somebody's like Saturday and Sunday. And you know what I'm saying? They're going back and forth. I'm like, man, what are these guys talking about? My bad. Sorry about that. So, and it's crazy because like you guys have been on the stream for a while. You remember, man, this is 11th in between Pine and Pike. There used to be all kinds of like, the mutual aid. Down there by the stop sign is where the martial law band was playing every night. This used to be hot and heavy. This used to also be an overflow street because when it would go down and when it would get funky at the Western Barricade right there, and then the police would push people back, they would overflow back into these streets. So I would say this is that, man, let's savor the flavor, cherish the moment. No matter where you're at on this stream, who you support, if you support the protesters, or if you support, the city, or if you're just tuned in to see what happens next. What we're predicting here is a night of quiet and a night of peace. You know what I'm saying? And who knows, it might be the last one, depending on what happens, tomorrow, or, depending on how this barricade removal program goes with the city over here. But I think that we have an expectation for tonight, some quiet, some peace and quiet in the chop. Leaving you over here at this memorial wall that's gotten a bit smaller over time. Like I said the other day, it's kind of crazy how as the chop has gone on, you know what I'm saying, and the numbers of people in the chop have reduced. It's almost like somehow as well the number of candles. You see the candles used to come all the way out here. That's wax. You know what I'm saying? This is wax right there. This is how far the candles used to come out. And so as the numbers here have reduced in people, the numbers of candles are reduced. And, you know what I'm saying, as a lot of the spirit that was here on the ground is reduced, there's only a few candles that are still shining and burning on the ground. Don't know if this wall directly represents, exactly what's going on, but it's a very good representation, especially for you guys that have been on this stream for a long time, because a lot of you guys remember that, this particular space, this memorial wall at one point, candles everywhere, people everywhere. It was a rare case that I would be here by myself. But right now I am. You remember that it would be me, trying to speak in a whisper like that because the people were out here. So, as somebody that's been through a lot of the funk and everything else out here, any night that's a quiet night, that's something that, that everybody kind of prays for. Like I said, no matter what side of this issue you might be on, I'm sure that people at the city, tonight that pray for peace, and definitely protesters that are here in the chop, and for media people and people that are covering it out here, we kind of cherish these nights where it's like, everything looks cool. The one thing about this place, though, is it can be volatile. So we don't know. Yep, we don't know, how to run. But all the indications, you guys remember we used to do those tweets called indicators, that all the indications for tonight is it'll be a quiet Saturday night up here on the hill. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. And as usual, we'll be out here, early to be able to capture things, if anything, for tomorrow. But a big goal for today was the removal of a lot of the art and be able to catalog it and store it properly, and that's still underway. Cal Anderson Park is very empty right now. Nobody is there. And of course the East Precinct, that's the place where everybody is at. So if there's any change in posture tonight, you'll definitely hear back from me and from the guys here. And man, I just wanted to take a second though before I hop off here. and really just say thank you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys I've never met, but you know, we got to know each other kind of over here over the stream, and I'm real sincere in the things that I say. And it's a lot of people on the stream, you know what I'm saying, they might agree with what I'm saying, they might disagree with what I'm saying, but man, I'm still thankful no matter what that you're here. And even if people, man, I learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? I got to go back in there and look at the exact name for the playfield. I'm going to get that tomorrow. Somebody was like, no, it's not Cal Anderson Playfield. It's Cal Anderson Park. Playfield's named after whatever. Man, I love that, man. I love to keep learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm smart enough to know what I don't know. And for sure, I don't know everything, but we try our level best to be able to bring you as much, you know what I'm saying, information out here in real time as we can. And so I'm just thankful for all of you guys, man. And I'm thankful for the support. I'm thankful for the positive words. I'm thankful for the times when people are like, no, man, hold on, that don't sound right. Or I heard this in another stream. Or what about that? Like, man, I'm into all of that.